guess most of these questions are gonna be for you. The program initiative highlights, that's not really in the, I'm gonna ask all my questions so that my 3 minutes gets used properly. The program initiative highlights, those aren't really part of this increase in spending. Those are just things that we're doing anyway, correct? Don't answer that question because my time's running out. So,
I can pause it.
the transfer, it takes too long. The transfer to capital is what we're actually, is that $5 million. All that other slide is things that have already been approved. I want to just make that clear, right?
We don't actually isolate the budget that way and say that.
But the $5 million includes the transfer to capital stuff.
And everything else.
But that was already
We don't-
approved at
we
other
don't-
meetings, right?
The transfer to capital, no, the capital reserve was. That's
Well,
different.
your slide said transfer to capital on the top.
That's in
That's the
this
$5 million.
year's budget. Yes,
That's the additional
correct.
spending.
That's correct.
Okay, that's all I wanted to clarify on that. I also wanted to find out about bonds, but I'll ask that question in 1 second. Craig, I want to address this question to you. In 2013, at this public hearing, there was a public comment on the consent agenda items that were added onto the agenda. The same kind of hearing, this hearing. 2014, there was a public comment on consent agenda items. 2015, there were 2 public comments, one on the hearing itself, which is just the budget, and one on the consent agenda items. In 2016, you guys were then on the board, but there were still 2 public comments, one on the hearing and one on a consent agenda. In 2017, we had a public comment on the budget and a public comment on the code of conduct, but there was no consent agenda, so you didn't have a public comment on that. So my question to you tonight is, why can't we have a public comment on the consent agenda when it's been done for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years prior?
I have no idea.
Well, you're the president, you get to make up the agenda, so why are we only having 1 public comment? Because there are items on the consent agenda that we have questions on that I'd like to ask, but there's no second one.
I thought that was the way it's always been.
No, I looked through 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 at this very named meeting. So would you be willing to put on a second public comment for the consent agenda?
Tonight?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Why?
It's a public hearing.
Right, but I just explained that there was public hearings on all the other meetings in those other 5 years, and they had consent agenda items, and when they did that, you were allowed to speak. Anyone? Someone?
I have no issue with the public speaking, but that's just my opinion.
I actually would be one that asked the attorney at that time, when I 1 year, to have 2 sessions because the community felt that they didn't have a voice. So I had changed it to 2 going back to 2000.
Well, 2012 was only half the year, so I couldn't check that one, but from 2013 on, it's been 2.
I think that people have the right to, as a community,
Great. So is that a yes? We can have a second public comment tonight?
Sure.
Great. Okay, so now I can ask you about the rest of my bond questions. How many, this is a lot of them, so you're gonna have to go with me here. How many bonds do we currently have out right now, separate bonds? How much money are those bonds for? And I know you're not gonna have these answers off the top of your head, so I'll put them on my Google document, but I just wanted to ask them. Have we paid off any of those bonds in, say, the last 3 to 5 years? And how much are we now adding this year, if any? I think we are, right? Aren't we doing a bond?
Potentially.
We're adding a bond vote?
There's a
Okay. So those are my 4 questions on the bonds.
Okay.
Well, so you got them, or you?
I have your.
I'll re-put them on my document too, but I just wanted to put that out there. Okay. That's it. Thank you.